Well, French dip is a classic. Loaded with steak, dripping with au jus, and just oozing with gorgeous cheese. Well, when you make it at home, you want it to be chef-worthy. So we are asking one of our favorite chefs for his advice to fearlessly French dip. Chef Todd Leonard joins me in the kitchen, and I think a lot of us do it the lazy way. We just like stick it in the crock pot and then boom, we think we're done. But you're saying that's not how the pros do it. And well, we don't want to be pro.
I actually love French dip and so excited because it seems like this winter won't ever quit, right?
Yeah.
So French dip is like that warm, comfort, soul food. And I think a lot of times we go to the simple choices of like, okay, leftover pot roast, or yeah, put it in the crock pot, come home and we'll do it. And that's a good way, no problem. But I've found if you choose a nice piece of meat, so we love New York steaks. So for instance, take New York steak, sear it perfectly, get it all perfect, trim off some of the fat on the sides, and then slice it on a meat slicer or slice it as thin as you can with your knife.
That's how
you're gonna get delicious. So that's what we're using. And then all we do, we take some of this nice medium rare meat and we just put it right in our au jus.
You're putting it in the au jus.
Right in the au jus.
Okay.
So we just let that sit right in the au jus. And then I just hit it in a little bit of a pan like that and just warm that right up.
Okay, so when I saw that meat, I said, ooh, that's a little more raw than I would go. And he said, it cooks in the
Well, the problem is, I grew up with really good French dip, but they were so dry because my grandma, bless her heart, she just cooked the roast forever and ever. And I'm like, oh, wow.
Okay, and you're doing a little something with the bread, too.
Yeah, so just a small amount of butter.
Oh, that's
just
butter.
Just a small amount of butter, okay? Put it right in a hot pan.
And that's ciabatta.
Yeah, that's ciabatta. I like ciabatta because it's resilient to the au jus. So if you get too soft of a roll, the au jus will soak up and it'll fall apart. So this ciabatta has a nice moisture when baked, and it has a nice moisture, kind of almost bagel-like on the outside. So it actually is resilient to the au jus, and it soaks it, but it doesn't fall apart and break.
Load on the butter. Yep. Put it on the grill
so you just
for a minute.
take that and you brown that up, and then we take our nice beef, and then I just literally just ladle on a little bit of our delicious au jus, just like that.
This is all the difference, because I think most of us are just dipping it on the jus, not.
Yep, and then I always take a little extra seasoning right at that time, and boom. And then I like to serve it just a little under, like that's not totally raw by any means, but I don't like to cook it to death. I want it to be really soft and tender.
What are your favorite seasonings to throw in there? Just yours?
Of course, Chef Todd's, you betcha. Okay. But salt and pepper will do it. That's very important. And then look at these caramelized onions. I love a little bit of caramelized onion to go right on that sandwich as well. It's so important to kind of get that French onion. So French dip. Onion,
okay, I gotcha.
So we're going totally French. And you know, you can slice the meat however, you can use leftover, but this one right here that's a New York strip. This is beef tenderloin. That's 100% beef tenderloin. That's the actual head side of the tenderloin. And I just seared it, roasted it in the oven for a while, cooled it, and then again sliced it on the slicer. And you can imagine how tender and delicious and thin that tenderloin will be on your sandwich.
Okay, school us on the cheese.
Very important. Okay, so we got smoked Gouda, Havarti, and Gruyere. Okay, I love Gruyere.
Gruyère's
so
your favorite?
I'll just take the Gruyere like that, and then at this time I'll put it on a little baking pan. That goes right in the oven. Boom, comes out, melted.
Broil it?
Yeah, I just broil it just for a minute. And then you just put your lid on and you're ready for your sandwich. I mean, it's that simple.
And that's going to be so moist, but do you still dip?
Oh yeah,
okay,
you gotta still dip. Dipping's one of the most important parts. But what do you eat for sides too? Like if you're gonna have a French dip, I just really love a good steak potato.
Oh,
so if you look at these steak potatoes, it's very simple, very easy, doesn't take a lot of work, and very inexpensive. So you literally just take regular potatoes, cut them. We're gonna add a noble amount of seasoning. Pit seasoning, salt, pepper.
He's not going easy on those
parsley, garlic,
ooh, yum.
shallots, some chives, and then we just take some oil.
Toss that with olive oil.
Toss it with olive oil. Put it on a baking sheet, and then put it right in the oven and roast those up too. And again, you get this amazing, delicious little roasted potato, and you can see all the roasted little tidbits really, really tasty. And that's a nice side for your French
That
dip.
is a delicious side, much better than the potato chips I'd probably throw on there. So, okay,
well, potato chips would be good.
He's got us ready, and that we're all set with our legit French dip. And when we come back, though, we're going to talk about the dunking.
The dunking.
The
it's
dunking.
all about the dunk.
The au jus, we're going to tell you his method. It's going to be different than yours, I guarantee it, but better. Coming up next.
Thank you.
I'm here in the kitchen with Chef Todd. We all love when he's here, and he's spilling his secrets to the best French dip dunk. And we're moving on to talking about au jus. For people who don't even know what that is, what is au jus?
So au jus traditionally like juices or trimmings from the roasting pan.
Okay.
So you deglaze it and add some water and some vegetables and then simmer. But au jus can also be made from stock, which is made from bones, and mirepoix, which is carrots, onion, and celery. And so that's how we've done it today.
Okay, because before you do that, I will admit I just throw like bouillon.
Bouillon,
and
baby.
I know,
Yeah,
and I know some
bouillon.
people use the packets.
Yeah.
So again, a level up for us.
So
How are you
take
doing
the
it?
packet, but then add flavor.
Okay, like
so
that.
we're gonna add all this amazing flavor. So we just, a nice hot pan, because you wanna get a little sizzle on that. But onions.
Ooh.
And tomatoes, which is acid because that brings out flavor.
Okay, you wouldn't think of that.
Carrots,
Lots of ingredients.
some garlic and shallots, celery, and then herbs. I've got rosemary and some parsley and bay leaves. So you want to put all that in there like that. And then the other important thing is, so this is going to fortify. So if you had to use a packet at home or bouillon or base, use that, but use this too. So you're going to use water and then put your base in, and that's just going to flavor that way, way good. And then I have reduced stock.
Okay.
So this is actually a reduction.
So you could either, if you're fancy, you do this. If not, you could use the
and
packet.
you can buy stocks and cartons, like beef stock and cartons at the grocery store. Works perfectly okay. Those tend to be a little bit saltier, but you want to start with this flavor. I always like to add a little bit of wine.
Okay.
So that's Burgundy wine. Give it a little more flavor, and that deglazes the pan. Then you put your stock in, and once that stock goes in, you're gonna have some delicious jus. So
And
that's gonna come up and look
Chef Todd,
like
look at
this.
what it turns out to be. Chef Todd knows what he's talking about. He teaches culinary classes at UVU. You can see his mug on big posters if you go down in the bowels of UVU. Some even have lipstick kisses on them.
Yeah,
Okay, so
that's
how can
funny.
people learn more about that?
Well, uvu.edu and go to culinary. But if you have a culinary dream or passion at all, we have the classes for you. It's a 2-year degree. We also have smaller programs for certificates in baking and cooking that only take a couple months. So it's really a wonderful, well-rounded plan. We're a national award-winning program. And so we hope that you can come down, but UVU Culinary is calling your name. Please come and join us.
Thank you, Chef Todd.
You betcha.
All right, and you can find this recipe as well as the other recipes that Todd has shared with us on the Studio 5 website. Go to studio5.ksl.com and click on the recipes tab in the top right corner. It's a good resource for new recipes and ideas, and one to bookmark come dinner time.